Morning students. So in the last class, good morning students. In the last class, we were discussing the three terms associated with the operating system. One is efficiency, second one is system performance, and the third one is user service, right? And we have already discussed efficiency, right? So what is efficiency? The way to evaluate efficiency of use of resource is to see how much of resource is unused or wasted, right? So efficiency we have already discussed. When the computer system allocates resources to the user programs, then how much of those allocated resources are efficiently used and they are wasted. So efficiency is found out by using those two terms. So as an example, the efficiency consider use of CPU. Sometimes it may perform some useful tasks, and sometimes it may be idle when the user is performing input output operations. In that case, CPU, we do not require CPU, right? So CPU will be idle in that case. In that case, we can say CPU is not efficiently utilized, right? And these things we have already discussed. What is overhead of an operating system? Operating system overhead is some of the resources are used by the operating system itself. Resources may be it is in the form of a memory, or sometimes it is in the form of CPU time, right? So CPU time is also used by the operating system, because while booting or when the computer system is started, then the operating system will be loaded from ROM to microprocessor, because microprocessor should execute the different instructions which are stored in the operating system one by one. So for that purpose, OS CPU is used to run or to execute operating system, right? Next, what are the different aspects and measure and the description, okay, that we will see now. The first aspect is efficiency of use. CPU efficiency, memory efficiency, right? So how we are going to measure this efficiency with the help of two things. One is CPU efficiency, second one is memory efficiency. Percent utilization of the CPU, right? What do you mean by CPU efficiency? How much percentage of the entire CPU time is utilized properly and it is wasted, right? Percent utilization of memory, how much amount of percentage. I cannot say memory and CPUs are utilized 100%, or efficiency of anything. You take anything in the nature, it might be a human being, it might be an electronic device, or any kind of software. We cannot say efficiency of those things is equal to 100% always, because some of the CPU time is wasted when user is performing IO operations, and memory, some amount of memory is also wasted whenever the user requires, let us say, certain 1 MB of memory. I cannot surely say that I cannot surely say that the user will make use of the entire 1 MB of memory, because program size is going to vary. So I cannot say you can write exactly a program which can be stored in 1 MB of memory. Exactly it will take 1 MB of memory. I cannot say, right? It may go beyond 1 MB of memory, or it may be lesser than 1 MB, right? So when it is utilizing less than 1 MB of memory, then we cannot say the efficiency of those memory devices 100%, right? Next, the system performance. We will see in this table, we will see this three topics or three parameters in brief, right? So next slide I will discuss system performance and user service in detail. So what is system performance? System performance is measured with the help of a term called throughput. What is a throughput? It is the amount of work done per unit time. Let us say if you are fetching certain data from the memory, then how much amount of time, or how much amount of what I can say, how many times you are going to fetch the data from the memory, and how much amount of data is fetched from the memory, right? So that is the throughput. That means how system is going to perform, or how the memory is going to perform in such cases, right? So whether we can read a more amount of data, at a less amount of time, so that is a more throughput, I can say, right? So throughput is said to be more whenever whatever I require, whatever user needs, right? So that has to be fulfilled in lesser amount of time. Then in that case I can say the throughput is more. If it is if it is not so, if it is taking some more time, right, to fetch the data or to execute certain instructions, then I can say throughput of that particular system is very less. Third one, user service. We will measure user service with the help of two time units. One is called turnaround time, second one is response time. What is turnaround time? The time to complete a job or a process, right? How much amount of time operating system takes to complete a job or a process, right? So that is turnaround time. Then what is response time? Time to implement one sub request, right? So here I'll divide the request and sub request in two different forms, right? Let us say, what is the request? If I am performing one job, and how much amount of time I am going to take to finish that job, that is called the turnaround time. And if I am performing a job, and if I divide that job into sub jobs, then how much amount of time I am taking to complete one sub job is called a response time. I think you understood the difference between the turnaround time and the response time. Turnaround time is the time taken by the user or taken by any kind of software, you can say, right, to complete one particular job, right? So a response time is if I divide that entire job into number of sub jobs, right? So then how much amount of time the operating system or anything it takes to complete one sub request or sub job is called response time. I hope you understood the difference between turnaround and response time. Okay, let us move to the next slide, where we will see these concepts very that is in detail. Okay, efficiency I have already discussed. How efficiency is measured? Efficiency is measured with respect to two things. One is memory usage and CPU usage. And in system performance, we will measure this system performance with the help of a throughput, right? So we'll move to the next topic, that is system performance, that we will see in detail. Okay. Next topic is the system performance, right? So system performance is measured by throughput, and it also depends on the efficiency, right? So these are all three terms, whatever we are discussing now: user service, system performance, and the efficiency. These are all interrelated, right? So what do you mean by system performance? System performance I can also measure with the help of a throughput, right? And it also depends on the efficiency. If efficiency is less, then I can say directly, I can say a throughput is less, right? So if I cannot fetch more amount of data from a memory in a lesser time, then I can say the efficiency is less, or memory efficiency is less, as well as the throughput is also less, right? So efficiency is usage of a memory, and if I take that usage of a memory with respect to time, if I correlate that thing with the help of with a time, then I can say it is a throughput, right? Efficiency is without a time, it is just a percentage or a ratio, you can say. And if I correlate this efficiency with respect to time, then it will become a throughput. Clear? Next, an operating system typically uses a measure of efficiency to tune its functioning for better performance, right? So I already said these are all interrelated topics, that is system performance, throughput, you can say, efficiency. These are all interrelated, right? So an operating system typically uses a measure of efficiency to tune its functioning for better performance, right? So when the operating system is efficient enough, then I can say its performance is better, right? So for example, if memory efficiency is low, the operating system may load more user programs in a memory, right? What do you mean by memory efficiency is low? If the entire memory is not utilized properly, if let us say 1 MB of memory is available, and if you are not using the entire 1 MB of memory to store your data or a program, then I can say memory efficiency is low. Right? Let us say 500 KB of that 1 MB is utilized for to store one program, right? Only 500 will be left free, no, right? So in that case I can say the memory efficiency is just a 50%, right? So 50 KB divided by 1 MB, you will get a 50%, right? So in that case, the operating system can load more number of programs in the remaining amount of memory, that is whatever 50 MB of memory is left in the 1 MB of memory, no. So in that 50 KB, sorry, not 50 MB, I said it is not 50 MB, it is 50 KB. 50 KB of remaining memory can be utilized by the operating system to store some more programs. Okay. Next, if CPU efficiency is low, what do you mean by CPU efficiency? The entire time of the CPU or processor time is not utilized 100%, you can say. In that case, CPU efficiency will be low. The operating system may investigate its causes, right? So what is the reason behind not utilizing the CPU time entirely, right? So it will investigate its causes, either too few programs in a memory or programs spending too much time in waiting for IO to complete, right? So there are two things how CPU efficiency is measured. CPU efficiency is measured by observing whether there are only too few programs in a memory, or the program spending too much time in waiting for IO to complete. Let us say user is running some program, and if it has IO operation as well, right? So when that IO operation part comes in the program, then the system then the user will go to perform IO operation. User will perform IO operations. In that case, the CPU will be kept idle, because until and unless that IO operation is performed, it cannot continue its execution. In that case, if IO operation is taking more time, then CPU has to sit idle for a longer time. In that case, I can say CPU is not efficiently utilized. Okay, that is first thing. Second one, and how many programs it can execute at a certain given time. If it is executing very few programs, then I can say CPU efficiency is less. If it executes more programs in a lesser amount of time, then I can say CPU efficiency is more, right? So here what I did here, the number of programs executed per unit time, again, which is a throughput, right? So these are all interrelated topics, right? So operating system will observe these things, and it will take the corrective actions wherever possible, right? So how system performance is characterized? It is characterized as the amount of work done per unit time, and it is typically measured as throughput, right? So what is throughput? Do anything that shows you your efficiency. If that efficiency is correlated with the time, then it becomes a throughput. Very simple. Yes. So what is throughput? The average number of jobs, programs or processes and sub-requests completed by a system in unit time. In unit time, maybe it may take its own time to finish it, right? Unit time may be in milliseconds, microseconds, seconds, sometimes hour, right? Sometimes days, sometimes months, right? So but when it comes to software thing, most probably all you can say all softwares, all kind of IO operations, it will be get over in terms of milliseconds or seconds. At the max they will take seconds, some few seconds they can take, they will not take hours and together, days, months and all, right? But hard work like road construction, building constructions, those will be those jobs will take longer time, right? So in that case, the time unit will be in terms of months, years together, right? So system performance is the average number of jobs. You can compare this throughput anywhere. You can take any example and you can say what is the throughput of that with respect to time. Efficiency, which is measured with respect to time, is nothing but a throughput, right? So we'll move to the third topic, that is user service. The next topic is user service. What do you mean by user service? The user service, which indicates how quickly a user's computation can be has been completed by the operating system, is one such aspect, right? So what is user service? Whenever user requests for a memory, right? Whenever user requests for a memory, then how much amount of time taken by the operating system to allocate that memory is a user service, right? Which indicates how quickly a user's computation has been completed. What is user computation here? User computation is giving a program, giving a process, or requesting for IO devices or resources is nothing but the user computation, right? So how fast that request is fulfilled by the operating system is nothing but a user service. So we define two measures of user service. One is turnaround time and response time, as I already discussed when I was discussing the table, right? So in the first slide we discussed a table, no? First one, the aspect, the measure, and the description, right? So in that case I have already explained what is turnaround time and response time. No problem, I'll explain it again. Okay, a smaller turnaround time or a response time implies better user service, because anything is done in a very faster rate in a very small time, then I can say the turnaround time as well as the response time is better, or implies better user service, right? So user is happy whenever his request is fulfilled in a very lesser amount of time, right? So what is turnaround time? Again, I'll define it again. The time from the submission of a job, program, or a process by user to the time its result becomes available to the user, right? So let us say at 10 a.m. if at 10 a.m. if I give certain job to operating system, if I request certain resources to the operating system, then if it is allocated in 10 o'clock for 1 minute, then I am very happy. If it takes more amount of time, let us say if it is if that particular resource is allocated at 10 at 10:30, then I'll be very sad, because I have to wait for a half an hour, right? Half an hour, and in that case the turnaround time will be very high, right? So turnaround time should be very less if you want. If I say user service is best, right, or the operating system is giving service to the user very fast, right? So in the same way, response time, the time from the submission of a sub request. Here we are talking about a program, the entire program. If this entire program is divided into number of sub programs, right? So time taken by the operating system to execute that sub program is called turnaround time. No, sorry, is called response time. A sub request by a user to the time process response to it. Right? The time taken by the operating system to perform a sub request or a sub program is called response time. Right? Specialized measures of user service may be defined for use in specific computing environments. Right? This we will discuss in later chapter. Okay, don't worry about this. Two such examples are deadline overrun in a real-time operating system. What do you mean by real-time operating system? Later we'll come to know when I discuss classes of operating system, and computational speed up in a distributed operating system, right? So again these two terms will appear there when we are discussing classes of operating system. Okay, a deadline overrun indicates, just listen to my audio and just go through these sentences. Deadline overrun, because we are going to discuss these two terms in classes of operating system in detail. How much time the operating system was late in completing the execution of a computation with the time constraint. So a negative deadline overrun indicates good user service, right? So deadline. If deadline overrun positive, what I want to conclude from this, if deadline overrun is positive, then I can say operating system is taking more time to complete the job. If it is negative, then I can say operating system is very fast to complete the user jobs. So these are the three aspects of operating system which we discussed in detail. In the next class we will see the different classes of an operating system. Okay.